next guest has spent his career writing about the culinary scene in the prairies. And today, he's highlighting some of his favorite cost-saving ingredients from the Canadian region.
And here with the winter recipes inspired by the prairies is food writer Dan Clapson. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Okay, so a couple things before we get started. First of all, I got to shout out all my people in Saskatoon. I lived in Saskatchewan for a while. Hi, everybody. Hi, Regina. Hi, Saskatoon. And the second thing is, I already told Jess she's asking all the questions because this food smells so good. I'm just going to be eating. So I'm going to ask you my first and only question, which is, how can ingredients from the prairies help us save money?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to start eating.
So I think it's just important to know what grows across the country. We have so many wonderful commodities here. And in the prairies, as I'm sure you would know, we have a ton of things like chickpeas, lentils, and pulses, all of which are economical to buy, but also really good for you and really delicious.
I didn't know they grew them at such a great rate.
Oh, they do.
It's huge.
It's like our biggest claim to fame, I would say.
My goodness. So we're starting with Alberta.
Yes.
How did that province inspire your first dish?
Should we eat now?
Yes, absolutely. Dive right in. We're doing a winter spice goulash here. And when you think of Alberta, I think when you're thinking food in Alberta, you think of beef.
Yeah.
We are the epicenter of Canadian beef. Canadian beef is viewed as one of the most sought-after proteins in the world. So I would be remiss to not use beef in a stew. Delicious goulash-style stew today.
All right, so what makes this cost-saving a recipe?
So when you use stewing cuts of beef, it's gonna be a lot more economical than purchasing steak. So this time of year, trying to make your dollar stretch, I feel like stews you can impart so much more flavor into them as well. So stewing cuts can go a long way if you have the time to cook them.
I just like to point out that I can cut this beef with a spoon. So bless you, sir. This is
very tender. Thank you.
But goulash feels like one of those dishes that every Eastern European mama or papa has a very specific recipe for.
Yes.
What, in your mind, goes into making a really good one?
So a classic goulash, I like putting winter spices in there. So you think of the spices that would be incorporated into something like a pumpkin pie. We're thinking like cloves or allspice and cinnamon, bay leaf, all those things that slow cook in a stew like this will have, well, you can smell it here, right?
Yeah.
They can't smell,
incredible.
but it smells wonderful. So that adds that kind of coziness to the dish, I think.
Oh my God, it's so good.
All right, so our next dish is inspired by Manitoba. Shout out to Winterpeg. So talk to us about this next one.
So this dish, drawing inspiration from Manitoba, I thought I would do a risotto-style dish using sunflower seeds and wheat berries. So, yeah, sunflower seeds
Another hit.
They grow a lot in Manitoba. So if you're buying like a bag of spits from a different city, they're probably grown in Manitoba, which I think is kind of neat. But you can also substitute rice for sunflower seeds in risotto-style dishes, so they cook at the same time. And there's also a decent amount of protein in them too. So again, if you're looking to make your dollar stretch, it's a good addition.
That's fantastic.
It's
It feels
good.
so hearty.
It's, very unique.
Is this vegetarian?
This is vegetarian, yes, and you could easily adapt to vegan if you wanted, or again, if you want to add in some like secret ingredients, which I do love.
What is it? I'm tasting
what is
something I can't pinpoint.
There's actually beef jerky in here. Which people might think is weird, but again, when you're looking for cost-saving ingredients that impart a lot of flavor, beef jerky has so much smokiness to it that a little bit chopped up, when it slow cooks in a dish like this, it ends up tasting a lot like a little delicious bacon.
So is the key to slow cooking the beef?
They don't know.
Is the key to slow cooking the beef jerky?
Yes, I mean if you want to be real chefy, which I'm not a chef, you could like grate it on top to finish, so it's kind of like airy, like a little bit of finished cheese.
That's a good idea.
Which sounds kind of weird to do, but it tastes good. I swear to God.
And I understand you like this when you're hosting a party, which by the way, we're waiting for an invite.
Okay,
Dan.
anytime. So the reason why I like to cook risotto for parties is because it's scalable. So you can cook it for 2 people or 10, and it's not that much effort. You just need a bigger pan, so that's why I love it.
Now, tell us about your hack for turning any leftovers that you may or may not have into brunch the next day.
This is fun too. So leftover risotto, you can mix with a bit of egg and cheese and fry it like almost like a latke in a pan.
Okay.
Yeah, or just leave the egg out, fry it up, and then top it with a fried egg. So a really nice brunch dish. And I'm all for minimal effort, maximum impressions. So if I have leftover dinner ingredients, why not use them for brunch?
I love this idea. So the next one is inspired by the lovely province of Saskatchewan.
Yes.
So tell us.
So I grew up in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon.
Shout out.
Yes, and a lot of people don't know that the majority of the world's lentils are grown in Saskatchewan.
I did not
which
know
is
that.
kind of crazy. Yes, it's
They
true.
already talked about the Rough Riders when I was out there. Okay,
which we do love too. But yeah, if you buy a bag of lentils in any major city in the world, they probably are from a farm outside of like Regina or Saskatoon.
That's
or Weyburn.
incredible.
Yeah, it's really, really neat.
First of all, this is delicious. I have to mention that. But besides using lentils, what else makes this an affordable meal?
I like to put in farmer sausage in here or kielbasa. So again, farmer sausage, somewhat like the beef jerky hack. There is a lot of salt and smokiness and flavor in there. So when you're slow cooking a dish, dish, like a cassoulet style dish here. Again, it can impart so much flavor into the pulses, like the lentils.
Listen,
Oh my God,
what other ingredient is in here? Because I'm eating this and I can taste the kielbasa, I can taste the lentils. What else? Something special.
Rutabaga. I feel bad for rutabaga.
You're right.
It never gets the respect it deserves.
I've never used a
So-
rutabaga in anything.
I know, and it's cheap, probably because no one likes it, but it's widely
one's buying it?
accessible. It's in season,
Yeah.
basically year round. It's a cellared vegetable, and I like the almost bitterness it adds to a dish. When you want a dish that tastes full-rounded, you want all those flavors, right? Like sweet, salty, bitter. You want it all together, and I think rutabaga offers that in like a cassoulet-style dish like this,
Well,
or a
it's,
soup. Or
you hit it out of the park. It's just
Thank you.
gorgeous. So last up, you
Yes.
brought dessert.
Yes, I
And you
did.
brought a panna cotta.
Yes.
So how was this inspired by the prairies?
So this dessert, I'm going to throw to Saskatoon again. These are reconstituted dried Saskatoon berries. So.
The Saskatoon berry,
Yes. So it's a misconception that Saskatoon, there's actually more Saskatoon berries that grow in Alberta than Saskatchewan.
This is
But Saskatoon was named after the berry. So anyway, they grow all through Western Canada. I cooked this down with a bit of fruit wine. I wouldn't recommend drinking fruit wine, but sometimes it's... Typically, there are some good options out there.
What a great if you get one as a gift.
Exactly. You can cook it down with berries, and again, you end up with a delicious sauce for panna cotta. Panna cotta is an easy dessert as well, I think.
Easy.
I think so.
I don't know if it is. Or at least for me, the ones I've tried have been kind of disastrous.
Okay.
This is maybe the best one I've ever tasted. And your secret ingredient, I'm blown away.
It's
You
sour
say it.
cream.
Sour cream. Sour cream.
Well, I feel like sour cream is ubiquitous to the prairie food scene because of our, Eastern European, Central European populations we have there. Sour cream is with pierogies, with kielbasa, so why not use it in dessert? It's also a widely accessible ingredient, adds a lot of tang and just a slightly different texture on a traditional panna cotta.
The texture's gorgeous.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, I gotta call you out because I'm eating this and it's delicious, but apparently you said you're not good at making desserts. Sir, I don't think so. We gotta talk about that.
Okay, let's clarify. I don't like making desserts, so I
Okay.
go for the easiest option. Again, minimal effort, maximum impressions.
Okay.
And panna cotta to me is that my biggest tip for panna cotta is just follow the recipe to a T, and you'll never be disappointed.
It's my fault.
And you end up with a beautiful texture that's, creamy and delicious. And you put whatever you want on top of it, which is nice. So a blank canvas dessert to get creative with.
And it's just so impressive. If I were at a dinner little gathering and got this, I'd be filled with joy.
feels like a
you
restaurant
have
already.
done for us today.
thank you.
You've brought us joy. Just incredible.
The Bocuse d'Or is the Olympics of food, and the two-day event is considered to be the most prestigious and grueling culinary competition in the world.
Gosh, who knew? Who knew?
I didn't.
Well, we are thrilled to be joined today by the representatives for Team Canada, Chef Keith Piers and his commis or junior chef, Joseph Mongillo. Welcome both of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're so excited to have you here. We understand that you're actually leaving for Lyon, France in just 2 days.
Yeah, a couple
So
days.
you're getting ready for the big competition. You've been there before to the Bocuse d'Or. What does this competition actually look like? Tell us about it.
It's kind of like what you said. It is the most prestigious and grueling competition there is in the world. 24 countries make the finals. And prior to that, there's a continental selection where we have the Bocuse d'Or Americas, and the top 5 countries make the finals from there. But there's also Bocuse d'Or Asia, Bocuse d'Or Europe, and Bocuse d'Or Africa as well. So, we're just preparing for that. And there's a theme that's given to us, and the theme is paying tribute to the founder, Chef Paul Bocuse, who's from Lyon, and it's roe deer, foie gras, and tea. So we have to make 3 showpieces. We have to make a venison and foie gras pie. We have to make a fruit garnish that's inspired and grown in our country as well. Cool. And we also have to make a secondary platter this year, which is 2 celery act showpieces, 16 celery garnishes, and a showpiece showcasing stone bass and lobster, and making a lobster samoan as well.
He's not hard at all.
Oh my gosh. All right. So these are
was a lot
some of
to
the
say.
dishes that you made from the Americas competition, which was the continental qualifiers, and they look absolutely stunning and almost a little too pretty to eat. I just want to put that on a table and just look at it. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Talk to us about the level of complexity that must go into making food of this level and the judging criteria for the competition.
Definitely.
Yeah, so the judging criteria is crazy. There's a 38-page rule book that we have to follow with everything that's outlined. But we're not just judged on how our food tastes. Of course, that's important, but it's also how Chef Keith and I work together in the kitchen, the cleanliness in the kitchen, our communication, our waste management in the kitchen as well. So, of course, the food has to look and taste good. but we have to work well together. And there's a kitchen jury and a tasting jury as well.
So you can't be yelling at each other in the kitchen.
No,
Is that true?
No.
No.
Wow.
What's considered yelling? How high can you raise your voice?
I mean, we just talk like this, but we have to. It's in a massive stadium, so there's thousands of people. Cowbells are going. It's just like the Olympics, so we have to speak loud enough to communicate, but we're not yelling at each other.
Okay, so how far in advance do you decide what you're going to make, and how do you actually come up with the dishes you're going to make?
So through our Chefs Canada network, we, from coast to coast across Canada, we do want to showcase our country and some of those ingredients that we have to offer, and also, myself as a chef and Joseph, things like that. So we do months and months of research and development, a lot of different failures ahead of us, until we reach a nice palate and taste that we are comfortable with, but also something that we think that will shock the judges' palate.
Wow.
Love it.
I'm curious, how were you both selected to represent Canada on the world stage? What was that process like?
So that process is a national selection, because it happens every 2 years. So 2023, there was a national selection. And in order to get selected for that, you apply through Chefs Canada. There's about 3 to 5 chefs who are selected, who, our vice president and president decide who they think would have the most potential to be the next culinary athlete. And they're, at our Restaurant Canada show, we then compete. And if you win that, then you get selected to represent the country. So I was fortunate to win that. And from there, we kind of group together and we decide to find, who's our coach going to be, who's our commie going to be, that kind of thing, and build that support team. And, the commie has to be under 22 years old on the day of the competition. So
how old are you, Joseph?
I'm just 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so the competition is at the end of the month, and I understand you're currently going through some very intensive training. So what does that look like? What does a regular day look like for you, both of you?
Oh, wow. Well, a regular day is a crazy day. So we do a lot of our practice runs. So we've done over 10 practice runs of what we'll be competing for in France. So it's just like doing a dance. We have to memorize our steps, memorize our movements, memorize our recipes.
Wow.
So all of the work that we've put into before January 27th, when we get to January 27th, it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like
choreo?
It's like a dance.
It's like choreography.
It's like a ballet, like fluid, very.
We love
you
that.
want it to flow.
Well, I can't ignore the fact that there is an award sitting right here. And in fact, Canada won silver at the Continental qualifiers, which is a huge accomplishment. So Keith, how do we stack up? First of all, this is already huge. So congratulations for this, I would like to say. Silver. So how do we stack up to the other countries? What are our challenges? What are you looking for to win?
Our biggest challenge right now is probably funding. Some of the strong countries out there that are well known in this competition, have government and provincial funding, like the countries in Europe, even U.S. as well, who are heavily backed. So, they're able to become culinary destinations because of that. And it would be great if we're able to do that, because culinary food tourism in Canada, people need to know about that because they don't, and we have a lot of good things to offer. And another thing that would be great is to be able to have a Bocuse d'Or training center in Ontario, like some of those countries, because that way we can put more time towards that.
Fill the pipeline with talent.
Yes, exactly.
Well, why don't we put us to the test a little bit? We're going to head on over to a plating station. Not nervous at all. So, Keith and Joseph, this is a dish that you actually did in the Americas competition. So we're going to try our hand at putting together something here. So what are we going to be making exactly?
Yeah, so what we have here is a shrimp duo. This is what we had to make in New Orleans. And so if you want, this is our shrimp mousse at the bottom. Okay. We're going to take this 3D printed mold that actually Joseph made himself. We're going to stick it right on top.
Right on top
of the shrimp mousse. We're going to take some shrimp tartare.
Yep. That's
been mixed with some finger lime, some shallot, a nice aromatic oil.
How much are we putting in there?
We're just going to place it and we're going to fill it up to the top.
Okay. Across the whole thing?
Across the whole thing.
It smells really good already. Oh, mine's a mess. Oh, boy. I
bringing Melissa to the competition.
I am not. Don't bring me to the competition. Only as a taste tester. Okay, yeah.
We're going to take this little tool here called an offset, and we're just going to push it down.
Oh, I was trying to do that with a spoon. Okay. Oh,
yeah. Just gently. Okay.
Yes.
And then we have another tool that Joseph made. We're just gonna push it on top.
This is brilliant, by the way.
Thank
Nice
you.
3D printing.
Thank you.
Mine's a hot mess, but whatever.
Oh no, it's looking good.
And then what
and then we
happens?
just turn it like that.
Okay, what did you just do?
Just a little turny.
Oh no, but I have to take. How do I take this off?
Then you
Push
just
it
lift it
through?
up.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
And then you go
genius.
like this.
Well,
Oh, not bad.
Not
it's
bad.
pretty good.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
a
Not
little,
bad. Okay,
a little
okay.
fresh pomelo.
Okay, yep.
A little fresh pomelo.
Do I get to eat it yet? No.
And then
then-
we're gonna take here just a little
Okay.
crispy brioche.
Okay, I'm just gonna copy you quickly so that we don't run out of time for Andrea's dish.
Definitely.
I'm doing
There you
this
go.
all wrong, but anyway.
That's okay.
Am I eating it yet?
It's still gonna taste good. You
No,
can
not
eat it.
yet.
Let's eat it.
Okay,
Let's
let's
eat
eat
Look
it.
like that. That's
Let's
Okay,
eat it.
so
Let's eat
okay.
it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, you guys continue.
Yeah,
then I
Andrew.
will
So
get
it is
eating.
our turn. Come on,
It's our
Andrew.
turn.
We're
Let's
gonna
go.
show
Let's
them how
show
it's
up,
done.
right?
Make a little art with some crabs. So what's our first step? Let's
So
do
we
this.
have our crab and potato.
Okay.
So we can grab our crab mixture, just a
Okay.
little scoop, and then we're gonna put a little dollop in the middle.
Okay.
So we want to stack it nice and high because we like
We
the
want to
height.
stack
of
high
it.
so people can see it.
You right?
Okay. Is that high enough,
Yeah.
Chef?
And then we can
my
take
God.
a nice pair of tweezers.
Should be
Okay.
fresh.
Your
Yes,
best
chef.
friend. I'll grab a little tweel
Okay.
and place it on top
Yes,
of the
chef.
I just want
potato.
to say my dish is amazing. It looks terrible, tastes amazing.
Yeah, Chef. How am I doing so far, Chef?
Amazing.
Okay.
And then just make it look nice.
And then just add a little
Add
something.
some flowers.
Yes, Chef.
Pretty.
Look at that.
And then we can garnish with just a dot of mayo at the end.
It's so pretty.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Wait,
Really
wait,
pretty.
Wait, wait.
Here you go.
Okay, and just a dot.
Right.
Okay, let's see. This is where it could all go wrong.
It looks really nice, though.
And we have a dot.
You did it.
You know, my passport, I could come to France with you guys if you need it.
We leave
Wow.
on Friday, so
I'm good to go. Don't worry.
This
Be there.
is so cool. We want to wish both of you the best.
thank you.
of
Thank you.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
In celebration of the long weekend ahead, we're raising a glass to Trailblazing Canadian wineries. So these industry pioneers are leading the way in many areas, like new winemaking techniques and strong environmental practices.
Yeah, and they're also leading in the quality of wines they produce. Here to highlight her top picks from across the country is Natalie McLean, who offers Canada's most popular online wine classes. Good to see you. And you couldn't be here at a better time. The weather is warmer. We're all on the patio. We're all
great.
pouring a little vino, so it's the perfect timing. All right, and we're starting
Absolutely.
off in the West Coast in British
are.
Columbia.
Yes.
Love that. All right, so what makes Gold Hill Winery a standout for you?
So Gold Hill Winery, it's a really inspiring story. So the founders are immigrants. They're Sant and Gunderlock Gill. Sorry.
Mouthful. Got it.
And they immigrated from India, Punjab, where they were born, in the 1980s to the Okanagan Valley. And they worked on a fruit farm for years and saved their money. And then they were able to buy this really prestigious land on the Golden Mile in the heart of the Okanagan and plant vines there. Wow. And what's really neat is that the entire management team as well, they're all women, including the winemaker, Val Tate, who is renowned, not just in BC, but across the country, and she immigrated from Mexico City.
I love this story. This is so
story.
exciting. And what's really exciting for today is we're going to shake things up and not do the normal white to red tasting. We're starting with the red.
Going
Exactly.
Tell us about the red we're starting with.
Absolutely.
So what is this red we're sipping?
Oh, this red is the Golden Hill Cabernet Franc. It's wonderful. It's full-bodied. It's got these aromas of sage and violet and dark berries. You know, and it's got a finish,
that's
I think, as long as the Trans-Canada Highway.
Yeah, it really does. This
it
is
really comes through.
gorgeous.
Absolutely. And you know what's great about this winery is that they age their wines for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And so that's not only good for, or tough actually for cash flow, but what it results in is wines that are really complex and layered and great for consumers.
All right, well, we're off to a great start because that was fantastic.
All right.
I need to pace myself. All right.
Yes.
So next we're heading to Ontario to visit Niagara. Who are we highlighting here?
All right, so we have Henry of Pelham. So, yeah, you know them,
No.
yeah? Personal friends? Yeah, okay. No. So, no.
They will be after this. Yeah.
Exactly. So when brothers Matt, Dan, and Paul were teenagers, they did not go to summer camp. They instead planted vines on the family's Niagara vineyard. Henry of Pelham back in the day when there was only 8 wineries in Ontario. Can you imagine just 8? Today there are more than 300 in Ontario alone, 700 across the country, by the way.
Incredible.
And so you can see that the property still has the old buildings from their ancestors, their forefathers from 1842.
Wow.
As well as, a modern state-of-the-art winemaking facility.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the winery is also a founding member of Sustainable Wine Growing Ontario. Can you tell us more about that?
Exactly. So this means they are sustainable when it comes to the environment, the economy, and the community. So, for example, what's really neat is that they are dedicated to wetland restoration. So they've installed some biofilters on their ponds to clean the water.
Wow.
And what's really cool, isn't that great? And what's really cool is that they use less water than wineries that are located in desert conditions, even though they're surrounded by lakes.
Good for them. That's
Yes.
fantastic. And I understand that they are the pioneers of red. So what have you brought for us today?
Yes. So taste Baco Noir. It's as Canadian as a plaid shirt, I'd say.
It really is.
It's full-bodied. Imagine sitting around a campfire, sparks going up into the dark sky. But you've got dark blackberries.
Oh, that's good too.
Campfire smoke.
I mean, good.
So Henry Appel, they're going to be your friends too by the end.
Henry,
Yes.
we can become best friends. That's delicious.
Okay. Awesome.
So we're staying in Ontario, but moving a bit further east to the Grange of Prince Edward. So what sets this winery apart?
All right, so Niagara may be the best known Ontario region, but Prince Edward County, there's some really exciting wines emerging here, like the Grange of Prince Edward. And so what they did is they went without crops for 2 years because they did a complete vineyard rejuvenation project. Yeah, they pulled up all the vines and then planted thousands of vines.
That's a lot
by
of work.
hand, nothing mechanical. And so now they're literally, you've got the fruits of their labors in this lovely estate rosé.
Well,
Give it a
tell
try.
us about this rosé.
Yeah, so it's just bursting with, yes,
That's
that.
gorgeous.
Bursting with that watermelon, fresh strawberries, lemon, and it's just beautiful. Be great with
Andrew's in
all
trouble.
kinds of things.
She's liking 3 for
I
3.
need a straw is what I need. This is so
I
good.
love it.
Beautiful. This is summer in a glass.
Isn't it?
Gorgeous.
Summer
This
in
is
a
wonderful.
glass.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
wonderful. Next girls' night, you guys know what to get. All right. So
Okay.
next up, we're headed to Domaine de Riche in Quebec. So what makes this winery so unique?
Okay, so on this property, they've got more than 235,000 different plant species.
Wow.
So they're a leader in biodiversity, and each plant can attract up to 10 different insects and butterflies, so their vineyards are just teeming with life.
Gorgeous. That's beautiful. All right, so what are we sampling from the Domaine de Riche?
Oh, I love that. That's
I love my French classes in school just came in handy.
Yes, very nice.
Quelle est la date aujourd'hui?
So we've got Lestan Bridge, and it is just this vibrant white wine, bracing and crisp. It's made from Vidal grapes. It'd be great with La Poutine.
Yes, oui.
La Poutine, cut through that richness, or a triple Quebec cream cheese. Can you imagine?
Oh,
All
wow.
right.
This has been fantastic, and I'm so excited for the last one we're ending on, because it's from the East Coast in Nova Scotia. Who is the trailblazer you're highlighting?
Oh, yes. Represents. All right, my people. From the East Coast, too. Okay, we've got Gina Haverstock, who won the 2024 Winemaker of the Year Award. Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
So this is
Congratulations.
such a prestigious award. She is not only the first person outside of BC and Ontario to win it, she's also the first woman.
All right, well, we have to honor her by drinking her wine. So you brought us Gina's aromatic white to try.
Yes. So this is her Tidal Bay, Gaspereau Vineyards, Tidal Bay. It's like ocean spray in a glass. It's so beautiful. It's crisp, it's floral, it's refreshing. Can you imagine this with steamed lobster and melting butter?
Wow.
Yes.
This would go
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
nicely.
Oh, this is very good.
Oh,
This
it's
is
so pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Natalie, thank you for sharing all
Cheers,
of
Natalie.
these. Cheers. Cheers to the long weekend, everyone.
The birds are chirping, the sun is mostly shining, and patio weather is almost upon us. It must be spring.
And our next guest is here to put our palates to a taste test with a variety of high and low wines for this new season. Please welcome back to the show, sommelier Beverly Crandon.
Thank you for having me. Oh, Beverly, we love having you. Okay, so we finally made it to spring. Hallelujah. And so what should we be thinking about in terms of alternative wines for this time of year?
Listen, when it comes to spring, I'm looking for wines that are lighter, fresher, more vibrant. Like I want a wine that's going to match the season and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, when spring hits, we're looking forward to the first mild day so we can be on the patio.
Yep.
We're doing dinners with friends. We're maybe opening up the barbecue, cooking outside more. And so I want a wine that's going to accompany everything that I'm doing. So what I have here today are 6 wines.
Okay.
And they all kind of match that light, fresh spring type of vibe.
Yeah.
But we're taking it one step further, like you mentioned. And we've got expressions both on the low scale and the higher scale in terms of price point.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna have you guys do is taste the 2 wines in each category and see if you can tell which one is priced.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we have white, rosé, and red. Let's start with white. And what do you want us to know about whites during this time of year?
So when I'm picking a white wine for this time of year, I'm looking for a wine that's got great acidity, great floral aromas on the nose, and bright fruit on the palate. Because you want a white wine that's gonna go great with food, so that acidity, and conversation. So I'm looking for a couple of elements. And so what I have for you today are 2 white wines, 2 different grapes, but they've got a lot of similarities in terms of that great acidity, and they've got some phenolics on the palate. So they've got some depth on the palate, which makes them amazing for food and wine pairing. So go ahead, taste those, and place them what you think is high or low. Place your
I
glasses.
already am terrible at this. I can tell. They taste the exact same
Are
to
you
me.
serious? I think this is a Sauvignon Blanc, and I'm going high.
Okay.
And I think the second one, I'm not too sure what it is, but there's some butter in there, and I'm going low.
And just to keep things interesting, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say that this one is the high, and this one is the low.
And you know what? If you want to reveal, Cynthia, you
Am I going like this one?
Yep.
Cynthia,
Google
get
both.
it?
She's right. She's got them both right. Yeah. She got them both right. So the first one is from Q Vineyards, and it's their Pinot Grigio, and that's $15. The second one is from Clara Micheli, which is a winery in Italy, and that is $49.
Are
It's from
you
Pecorino.
serious?
100%. And that's the one I thought you would like. I know you're gonna get that.
Somebody has a more refined palate.
But you know why you thought they were similar? It's because they both have heavy phenolics on the palate.
Yeah.
And that's why I put them side by side.
The nose upsets me.
But you know what? Listen, this Q Vineyards one, like, don't poo-poo wines
No,
that are
it's
under
good.
$20. Exactly.
It's
I
so
love that
good.
Pinot Grigio.
No,
Love
they
it.
are. They're both
Hilarious. I
really
love
good.
this.
They're both
Okay,
really,
so
really
hopefully
good.
we'll be able to get outside more to enjoy a glass of white wine soon. How does the spring weather affect the flavors of the wine?
You know what? It does nothing. But you ever been on vacation and then you had a wine when you're on vacation? You're like, I love this wine. And you bring it back home. You're like, it's not so much. It's your mood when you're consuming the wine that makes it an elevated experience.
Okay. Okay. Jess, you got to put your wines back.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to move
Thanks,
on to a rosé. So what should we know about a spring rosé?
Listen, rosé, in my mind, is like a double duty wine because it pairs so wonderfully with food. It's made like it's a white wine, but it comes from red grapes, and so you've got layers and complexity on the palate. So these 2, go ahead and try those.
Okay.
These are, of course, 2 different wines. But in both cases, although one is a little darker than the other, the winemakers tried to extract more color from the grapes, which is why I thought I would put them side by side and see if you can tell which one on the lower side, higher side.
I'm going to go with the pale one is a bit more of a higher end, and the darker one is the lower end. Okay. But they're both very nice, again.
Yeah. And you could have that with so many things.
I don't know. Okay, just to be contrarian, I'm gonna go the darker one is high and the lighter one is low.
You are now correct.
Correct. You've redeemed yourself.
So the lighter one is from Enniskillen. It's the Niagara State Series Rosé. And this one, Comunica, is called Foxy Lady, and that's from Spain, and named after one of the Hendrix songs.
This is interesting.
It is really interesting. I feel like the Enniskillen one is a little bit sweet, on the sweeter side. So
good catch.
When it comes to dry versus sweeter rosé, which option is better, or is there a better one for spring?
There really isn't. What you want to look for with a wine is a level of acidity. I can give you a rosé that's got 11 grams of residual sugar, and that's off dry, so sweet, considered sweet. But if it's got good acidity, it's going to balance it out for me, and I won't even care.
That's a very excellent note.
Very good.
And obviously, because you're a sommelier.
Well,
Okay, so
that's
finally,
what I do.
we have a red wine. Talk to us about reds at this time of the year.
So a lot of people think red wines are just for fall and winter, and that is so wrong. Once you're serving your red wines at the right temperature, you're good to go. People think we should serve our red wines at room temperature when that saying came out and when that notion was, the houses were very cold. It's not like how it is now with central air
Castle
and all that stuff.
temperature.
Exactly. So you want to serve your red wines between 14 to 18 degrees. Do not serve them at room temperature, which is 21, 22, 23. Way too hot. And so today I've got 2 lighter bodied red wines for you to try. And these I can serve at 16 degrees and be lovely, and they're gonna be crisp and great acidity and all that kinds of good stuff. One's a Cab Franc, one's a Grenache. Which is which? What's high, what's low?
Okay, I'm going with this.
This is tough.
what it was. I'm going this way. I'm making a decision here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm doing the exact same. I'm doing this one
Yep.
high, this one low.
Okay.
Oh, and you're both right.
Wow!
Yeah, you want to reveal those
Yeah.
there? So the first one is actually from Ontario. It's from Melville Wines, and that's the Cabernet Franc. The second one is Latido de Serra from Spain, and that's the Grenache.
Oh my gosh, they are both lovely. But you mentioned keeping our reds on a bit of the cooler side, castle temperature. Did that work for all reds, like even the heavier ones?
100%. You cannot have your heavy wines at room temperature. The alcohol will punch you in the face. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Telling you.
I mean, sometimes people might want that, but anyway, no.
That's each his own.
Well, this has been delightful, truly.
Yeah, you guys did a good job.
Thank you so much,
Oh my God,
Beverly.
thank
We're
you.
going to do this again.
Yeah, it was
Tomorrow,
fun.
and the next day.